Warning, there are people pretending to be me in the comments. This is what a comment from me looks like. Notice that the name is spelled perfectly, and notice the border around the name. That's how you know it's from me. You can also click on my name to make sure you actually go to my channel to double check. And this is what a comment from an imposter will look like. It has weird characters in the name or comment, and it's usually going to ask you to add them on WhatsApp or Telegram. I don't have WhatsApp or Telegram, and I would never ask you to add me on there. All right, so please be careful, use your common sense, and now let's get back to the video. Hey, how's it going, GPU heads? Thanks for clicking on my video. Seb Heslo here, and in this video we're gonna do a complete deep dive on the RTX 3060 in terms of mining, and we're gonna check what is the highest hash rate you can get on this GPU, what is the best efficiency you can get on this GPU, how much power does it use, and what is the actual profitability of mining on a 3060 right now. And we are gonna check this on Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Ravencoin, Flux, Ergo, and Firo. So we're gonna check all those things on all of those coins. And keep in mind, we will be testing this on the current version of the RTX 3060, which is the LHR version 2, basically the full LHR version, which means it is hash rate limited on Ethereum as well as Ethereum Classic, basically all Ethash algorithms. And this video is the second in a series where I am thoroughly testing every current RTX 30 series GPU as well as every GTX 16 series GPU for mining. And after watching this video, if you do feel like this GPU is the GPU for you and you would like to buy one, I am going to leave some affiliate links down in the description of this video. And of course, full disclosures, those are affiliate links, which means that if you do make a purchase through those links, that helps to support the channel at no extra cost to you. And just quickly before we get into all of the hash rate and profitability testing, I just want to mention that I will be showing you the overclock settings that I use for this GPU. Now, just keep in mind that those overclock settings, while they might be close, they won't be exactly the perfect overclock settings for you, because they are for my GPU, and each GPU is unique and needs individual overclock settings basically. But don't worry, because I actually have a video guide on how to find the perfect overclock settings for your specific GPU, no matter what coin you are mining. So I'll link that up in the card there, as well as in the description of this video. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's do a full review of the RTX 3060 for mining. Let's go. And guys, check it out. This is what you have to look forward to here on the channel. We got the 3060 Ti coming up, we got the 3070, and the 3070 Ti we've already done. Then we got the 3080, 3080 Ti, and 3090. That's coming up. Alright, so we are at the computer now, and we're gonna start by having a look at Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. The overclocks and hash rates and efficiencies will all be exactly the same for both those coins, because they use basically the same algorithm. Now, of course, this is the current version of the 3060, which is a fully LHR light hash rate version, which means of course it is hash rate limited on Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. So what that means is we're gonna be using the latest version of T-Rex Miner, which has the 74% unlock feature. And so if we have a look here, we are up and mining, and we are just at completely stock settings right now. And we seem to be bouncing around a little bit, which is very common with, LHR GPUs mining Ethereum. But we seem to be sort of bouncing between 31 and 32 mega hash at around 130 watts or so, for an efficiency of around 246 kilohash per watt. So that's where we're at. Now let's start power limiting this GPU and see what the best efficiency we can get at stock clocks is. Alright, so we basically did not lose any hash rate power limiting this all the way down as low as it will go, which is 58%. So we're still getting around 31.5 mega hash, but now at just 99 watts, which is excellent. So now let's put power limit back to 100% and start overclocking this GPU. Alright, so you can see my overclock settings on the screen there, and we're getting around 36 mega hash, and that is at around 140 watts or so, which gives us an efficiency of 257 kilo hashes per watt. Now let's keep our overclock settings like this and start power limiting and see what the best efficiency we can get with overclocks in place is. Alright, so basically the best efficiency again was just to slam the power limit all the way down to 58%, and that gives us around 35.5 or so mega hash at just 99 watts, which is pretty good. It gives us an efficiency of 360 kilo hashes per watt basically. But there's one more thing I want to try, and that is locking the core clock instead of using power limit. So I'll give that a go and let's see what happens. Alright, so basically what I found is that if I lock the core clock around 1450 megahertz, we stay at that around 35.5 mega hash per second, but we reduce our wattage by like a few watts. We're around maybe 94 watts. But if I lower the core clock even further, we lose some hash rate, but we gain a lot in efficiency. So I'm gonna put this down as like the highest hash rate at the best wattage, and then I'm gonna keep lowering the core clock and see what the absolute best efficiency we can get is. So yeah, let's have a look. Alright, so by locking our core clock at 1450 or so megahertz, we are getting roughly 35.5 mega hash at around 94 watts for a efficiency of 378 or so kilo hashes per watt, which is the best efficiency for sure, and is just below the max hash rate that we saw, which was 36 mega hash. So all in all, pretty good. Those are our numbers. Now of course we will go through all of the numbers towards the end of the video, but now let's hop on over to Ravencoin. Alright, so we are up and mining Ravencoin, and what's convenient for us right now is that since Firo just changed their algorithm over to FiroPow, and Ravencoin uses CorePow, which those both algorithms are both variants of ProgPow, and basically what this means is that the overclock settings, hash rates and efficiencies that we get on Ravencoin will be the exact same for Firo as well. So I don't have to waste both mine and your time testing both these coins, because I know that the results I get for Ravencoin will be exactly the same for Firo as well. So that's the case with Firo and Ravencoin. Now let's have a look at just stock settings. What do we get mining Ravencoin or Firo on the RTX 3060? Okay, so it seems that with just stock settings we are getting around 20.9, almost 21 mega hash on Ravencoin or Firo at around 169 watts, which gives an efficiency of 124 kilo hash per watt. Now let's start power limiting and see what the best efficiency we can get is with just stock clocks. Alright, so the best possible efficiency that I was able to find just with stock clocks is at 101 watts. We're getting just about 19.6 mega hash per second, which gives us just below 200 kilo hash per watt, which is really efficient actually. Now let's put our power limit back to 100% and start overclocking this to see what the highest possible hash rate we can get is. Alright, so with overclocks in place we are getting around 24.3 mega hash per second, and that's pulling 169 watts, which is giving us an efficiency of 144 kilo hashes per watt basically. But now let's start power limiting with our overclocks in place and see what the best efficiency we can get with overclocks is. Alright, so the best efficiency that I could find was at around 106, 107 watts, and it's bouncing around a little bit, but the average is around 20.5 mega hash a second, which gives us an efficiency of 193 kilo hashes per watt basically, which is all pretty much as good as what we saw just power limiting at stock clocks basically. But I want to try one more thing, which is locking the core clock and see if we can get better results that way. Alright, so basically locking the core clock got us the exact same efficiency as just power limiting with overclocks in place. We're getting 21 mega hash at 109 watts, which gives us like 193 kilo hash per watt, which is basically the same efficiency we got with just regular overclocking. But yeah, that's it for Ravencoin /FIRO. So I guess let's move on to Ergo. Alright, so we are up and mining Ergo on the 3060, and with just all stock settings we're getting just below 104 mega hash per second at 119 watts, which gives us an efficiency of 844 kilo hashes per watt basically. But now let's power limit this GPU and see what the best efficiency we can get is with stock clocks. Alright, so power limiting with stock clocks, basically we were able to pull the power limit all the way down to 60% and not lose out on any hash rate basically. So we're still at around 103.4, so I guess we lost 0.5 mega hash, and pulling just 101 watts, which basically gives us an efficiency of 1.02 mega hash per watt, which is great. But now let's put our power limit back to 100% and let's start overclocking instead. Alright, so with overclocks in place, we are getting around 121 mega hash per second at 130 watts, which gives us an efficiency of around 900 kilo hashes per watt, which is pretty good considering we haven't even started to power limit this yet. So that is what I'll do now, start pulling the power limit down until we find the efficiency sweet spot while overclocked. And yeah, I'll check back in with you when I've got that. Alright, so the best efficiency I've been able to find with overclocks in place is with the power limit at 62%. We're getting just below 113 mega hash per second at just 105 watts, which gives us an efficiency of 1.07 mega hash per watt, which is fantastic. But I still want to try to lock the core clock instead of power limiting, so I'll do that right now. Alright, so with locked core clock we were able to get some pretty crazy good efficiency out of this card actually. So I locked the core at 1305, that's the best efficiency I could find, and we're getting around 108.5 mega hash per second at just 81 watts, which is crazy good efficiency at like 1.34 mega hash per watt. So yeah, there you go. Those were all the numbers for Ergo. Now let's move on to Flux. Alright, so we are up and mining Flux and we are at just stock settings and getting around 39 or so solutions per second at 163 watts. So now let's start power limiting and see what the best efficiency we can get is. Alright, so the best efficiency I could find with stock clocks mining Flux was at 60% power limit, where we're getting around 34 or so solutions per second at 102 watts. And that gives us an efficiency of 0.33 solutions per second per watt basically. But yeah, let's put power limit back to 100% and start overclocking. Alright, so we have overclocks in place now and we didn't get that much of a bump in our hash rates. Maybe about 2 solutions per second or so. We're at like 41 and a half solutions per second, and that's, well, you can see my overclocks on the screen here, and that's at 165 watts. So we are getting around 0.25 solutions per second per watt now basically. But let's start power limiting with our overclocks in place and see what the best efficiency we can get with overclocks in place is. Alright, so best efficiency that I was able to find with overclocks in place was at 60% power limit, where we're getting around 36.5 or so solutions per second at just 102 watts, which gives us the best overall efficiency that we've had, which is 0.358 solutions per second per watt. Now, I do still want to try with locked core clock as well. So yeah, I'll check that out now and I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so basically no real difference locking the core clock versus just regular overclocking. We're getting around 35 or so solutions per second at 100 watts, which is roughly what we got by regular overclocking. But yeah, that is it for our hash rate testing. Now let's have a look at all of our results. Alright, so here is our spreadsheet with all of the hash rates, wattages, efficiencies, and overclock settings that I found on all of these coins. So you can see we got Ethereum / Ethereum Classic here, Ravencoin / FIRO here, Ergo, and Flux. And I'm not going to go through every single value that we found here basically, but there are a few things that I want to bring to your attention. So for Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, basically, if you're willing to just sacrifice half a mega hash, you can also get the absolute best efficiency, which is totally worth it in my opinion, getting 35.5 mega hash at just 94 watts for an efficiency of, 378 kilo hashes per watt, which is definitely a good efficiency for an LHR GPU. And moving on to Ravencoin and FIRO, what we found there was the sort of top hash rate you could get was quite up high there in like the amount of wattage pulled by the card, and because of that the best efficiency resulted in quite a low hash rate comparatively. So what I did was I actually added sort of a sweet spot in my just personal opinion, which was you can sacrifice just tiny bit of hash rate there and get a dramatic reduction in power draw. So you're getting 24 mega hash at just 139 watts instead of 169 watts for a much better efficiency while not sacrificing that much hash rate. And I actually did the same thing on Ergo here, but it was even more straightforward there because you can basically get the highest possible hash rate at a lower wattage just by power limiting. So you can see here the highest possible hash rate, I should probably make this green as well, there we go, is 120.8 mega hash, which you get at full 100% power limit, but you still get that same hash rate power limiting down to 70% at 118 watts. So absolutely no reason to not do that basically. And then we have our absolutely most power efficient setting here, which blew my mind, 1.34 mega hash per watt by locking our core clock at just above 1300 megahertz. Incredible. And then finally for Flux, we saw the highest possible hash rate there was 41.5 or so solutions per second. Again at quite a high power draw at 165 watts. And kind of same thing there, you had to kind of severely sacrifice hash rate in order to get that best efficiency that we could. So here as well I did kind of like a sweet spot setting, which is you get 39 solutions per second at 142 watts, which is definitely like better in terms of efficiency without sacrificing that much hash rate. But as you can see, the if you're willing to just sacrifice another 2.5 solutions per second, your efficiency increases dramatically there. But with current profitability, and we'll take a look at profitability in just a second here, it is actually kind of worth it to go up to this higher hash rate, even though the power draw is so much higher, unless your electricity is extremely expensive. So having had a look at all of the hash rates there, let's have a look at the profitability on all of these algorithms, right? All of these coins. So I have it all plugged into what to mine here. So let's hit calculate, and we're doing just standard 10 cents per kilowatt hour for our power cost. And as we can see here, Flux is actually above Ethereum because of the total revenue that you would make. However, after power cost taken into account, Ethereum does still come out as more profitable. So if you have free electricity, then go with Flux, but if not, then go with Ethereum. We're getting $2.34 per day on Flux and $2.43 on Ethereum. And then we have Ravencoin in third at $2.12 per day. Firo, both Firo and Ergo are very close on this GPU, getting at just above $2 here per day. And finally, we actually have just another random ETH hash coin, Eliasm, being more profitable than Ethereum Classic right now, at around $1.33 versus Ethereum Classic, which makes you $1.15 per day. But yeah, that's it. All right, so there you have it. Now, as I said, this is the second in a video series where I'm testing every single current RTX 30 series GPU as well as GTX 16 series GPU for mining, just like I did with the RTX 3060 in this video. I've already done the RTX 3070 Ti, so you can watch that up there if you want. And yeah, subscribe if you want to see the rest, if you haven't already, because I will be publishing them, quite frequently all throughout of December. But if you enjoyed this video, then please give it one of these. I'd really appreciate it. And what you gotta do now is you gotta click on that next video on the screen, because this video is over. You can also click the picture of my face to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, go click on that next video and I'll see you there. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye bye.